Hello, thank you for joining us for the BPM Change Management PRR Review monthly meeting. My name is Nicole Hines, and I'm representing the ISO Customer Readiness, and I will be facilitating today's BPM call. Just some reminders today. Today's call is being recorded. These recordings are for informational and convenience purposes only, and any related transcript should not be reprinted without the ISO's permission. As a reminder, these monthly calls are structured to stimulate an honest dialogue and engage different perspectives. While we welcome comments and questions, please remember to keep comments professional and respectful. We will be taking questions throughout the call today. If you're dialed in by phone only and not on the WebEx, you can enter the question queue at any time by pressing #2 on your telephone keypad. If you connected audio through the WebEx platform, please use the raise hand feature located above the chat box on the lower right-hand side of your screen. Please introduce yourself before asking your questions. If you need technical assistance during the call today, please send a chat message to the event producer. Today we have a total of 10 PRRs we're going to be discussing. 6 are in the initial phase and 4 are in the recommendation stage, and all of them are submitted by the ISO staff. Just a reminder that we go through a stakeholder initial process every year. The purpose of the BPMs is to set forth business practices that implement the ISO tariff. The ISO conducts a yearly policy initiative roadmap process to consider and rank initiatives. Policy changes submitted through PRR process will be referred to as the policy initiative roadmap process, and each subject area in a BPM is based on enabling language in the ISO tariff. The PRR process cannot be used to introduce changes that are not supported by existing tariff authority. The first BPM we're going to be talking about today is market operations. There's 2 PRRs, both in the initial stage. PRR 1396 is for base schedule submission deadlines, and PRR 1395 is interchange transactions and electronic tagging. Now, I know Jamal had a conflict. I'm not sure if he's still available. Jamal, are you on the line? Okay, I'll go ahead and read these slides for him. We do have ability to answer questions, so if you have any questions, please raise your hand or hit #2. So for PRR 1396 base schedule submission deadline, the reason for this revision is to add special rules to section C.2.1.24 of the market operations BPM. When a base schedule is submitted below the P-min and above 0 for the purpose of submitting startup energy, the effective date is going to be November 1st, 2021. We did not receive any initial comments. The comment period expired on December 14th. And the next step is to post recommendation. PRR 1395 is for the interchange transactions and electronic tagging. The reason for this revision is to provide a full disclosure on the process to unilaterally adjust e-tags with the RUC schedules. This practice provides important information to the sync of VA on the RUC schedule. Targeted upon completion of the PRR process, there have been no initial comments received. The comment period expired on December 14th, and the next step is to post recommendations. Are there any questions on these 2 PRRs?
Currently, I do not see any questions in queue.
All right, thank you. The next BPM is our market instruments BPM. We have 1 PRR in the recommendation stage. PRR 1393 for variable operations and maintenance cost changes. The reason for this revision is to edit the BPM for market instruments to provide guidance to scheduling coordinators on the variable operations and maintenance adders introduced in the VOM cost review stakeholder initiative. The target date for this is 1/1 of next year. We did receive a recommendation comment which did not get updated on the slide. I'll make sure it's updated online. We did post a response to the recommendation comment, and the next step is to post the final decision. Do we have any questions about this PRR?
I do not see any questions in queue at this time.
All right, thank you. The next set of BPM PRRs that we're going to talk about is for settlements and billing. There are 4 PRRs. All of them are in the initial stage. And instead of reading through all the titles, I'm going to hand it over to Brenda to discuss the PRRs and their titles. Brenda?
13, hello, can you hear me? I just had a beep on the background, but I'll go ahead. 1399 is the PR that's changing the multiple BPM conversion guides to accommodate the WAPA and the TANC contract. No comments were submitted at this time. Our next step is to post a recommendation, and our initial comment period expired a few weeks ago. So if there's any questions, let me know at the end. Next PR. PR 1398 is to update the BPM conversion guide to support the day-ahead nodal pricing model, phase 2, ancillary services. And we have no initial comments submitted at this time. Our next step is to post recommendation, and then the effective date is the 2/16. Next is PR 1397 for the updates of the BPM tariff amendment adjustment for the meaning of the business safe work filing. We have no initial comments submitted at this time. Our next step is to post recommendation by the end of this week. Next PR. And lastly, the PR 1394 is to update the BPM conversion guide to support the day. This one's the same one. Can you go to the next slide, please? And there was another one. Did I skim through that? Can you go back?
We have 1394, 1397, and 1398.
Okay. Alrighty. I thought there were 4, but I'm sure there's another one. We're missing 1399 on this PowerPoint. I don't see it. But I could verbally talk about it. 1399 is to update the, did you say 1394, 1397, 1398, 1399? Okay. I think we're good. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Brenda. I will double check the presentation, and if there is an update, I will update it and post it to the webpage. So please look for an updated presentation this afternoon. Are there any questions for any of the settlement PRRs?
There are currently no questions on the line.
All right. So the next BPM is going to be for direct telemetry. It's in the recommendation stage, PRR 1390, eligible intermittent resource definition update. And I'm going to hand that over to Priyanka to discuss this PRR.
Thank you, Nicole. We have submitted PRR 1390 for the telemetry BPM to make an update to eligible intermediate resource definition. So with the recent update of the tariff, we have updated the definition of EIR resource in the telemetry BPM as well. The recommendation comments period has expired on December 14th, 2021, and we have not received any comments. The next step is to post the final decision.
Thanks, Priyanka. Are there any questions? As a reminder, you can hit #2 if you're dialed in only by your phone, or in the lower right-hand corner, you can click the raise hand icon in WebEx.
All right, I do not currently see any questions in queue.
All right, thank you. The next BPM is our generator management BPM, PRR 1392 is in the recommendation stage. These are minor language updates to the BPM for generator management, and I'm going to hand it over to Jill to discuss this PRR.
Thank you, Nicole. The reason for this revision is to conform the terminology with the VOM cost review initiative. There were no recommendation comments for the comment period that ended December 14th, and our next step is to post the final decision.
Thanks, Jill. Are there any questions on this PRR?
There are currently no questions in queue.
Okay. The next PRR we're going to talk about is for the generator interconnection and deliverability allocation procedures. PRR 1391 is in the recommendation stage for transmission plan deliverability clarification, and I'm going to hand this over to Dawn to discuss.
Thank you. So this PRR is to clarify that capacity effectuated through the CAISO's modification process may seek an allocation for TP deliverability. We did not receive any recommendation comments for the period that ended December 14th, and the next step is to post the final decision.
Thanks, Tom. Are there any questions about this PRR?
I do not see any questions in queue currently.
Okay, thank you. Our next BPM PRR review meeting is going to be January 25th. That should be 2022, the end of the year already. It's going to be at 11 a.m. If you have any questions, please contact me at bpm_cm@caiso.com. And if there are no other questions in queue, that will conclude today's call.
There are no additional questions in queue.
All right, thank you. I hope everyone has a safe New Year and a good holiday.
That concludes our conference. Thank you for using Event Services. You may now disconnect.